All right, so I'm going to give you my top 10 final expense face-to-face carriers that I use at the Ford Insurance Group. This video is perfect if you're a final expense agent looking for a list of good quality final expense carriers that are good on a face-to-face basis. This is made somewhere in the second half of 2021, just as a reference point. These are the major 10 carriers that I use, that a lot of other agents use. And as I go through this list, they're in no particular order. I'm going to kind of briefly describe some of the benefits of each product, just so that you get an idea of how they work. And remember, if you're interested in any of these products, you want contracts for them, and you don't know where to go, reach out to me at davidduford.com/contact. I can help you get them. Okay, so let's get started. So first on the list here is AIG, or American General. They are kind of our premier face-to-face guaranteed issue product. Issue age is 50 to 80 years old. Prices are very competitive. Advance is 50% commission, or 50% advance on your commission. And the commission tends to be a little bit higher than other products I have seen. And it's somewhat of a brand name company, especially American General, more than AIG. And a lot of our clients like them. So this is one of those we use a lot in my agency for guaranteed issue business. Second on the list here is Foresters. Now, I like Foresters because they revamped their product about a year and a half ago, and they made it very good for niche-based situations, plus having a very competitive price for their preferred products. So for example, just a couple of niches you can get with Foresters. You can do COPD, first day full coverage at a standard rate class. That's excellent. COPD is a common condition that usually gets graded or modified or guaranteed issued. They also have a 2-year look back on heart issues, and have a 1 to 2 year look back on heart issues too, like heart attacks, strokes, stents, bypasses, etc. So there's that standard pricing benefit between 1 and 2 years. The one downside about Foresters is that they require a paper app face-to-face. I wish they would go to their e-app version. They do that over the phone, but for some reason, I don't know why, they won't allow it. But if you can deal with a paper app, it's very competitively priced. The phone interview is super quick. It's like 5 minutes long. And it's just an overall really good niche product to use that also has pretty competitive rates for the preferred too. Next on the list is Guaranteed Trust Life. Guaranteed Trust Life is what I would categorize as a near guaranteed issue product. It has 6 health questions, and it's really designed to cover people who would otherwise go to guaranteed issue but aren't healthy enough to get first day full coverage. The real benefit of Guaranteed Trust Life's Heritage Final Expense product is it provides 50% death benefit starting in the second year. The first year is just return of premium plus 5%, and then full coverage starting in the third year and beyond. So it gets your client more coverage faster than guaranteed issue. And if your client has things like congestive heart failure, also any heart issues in the past 2 years, Guaranteed Trust Life is an excellent option for them. We use them a lot. They come in handy a lot, and they do a really good service for our clients. Number 4 on the list here is Prosperity. Prosperity is one of my favorite companies because it's just a good, all-around, well-balanced company. It pays very well on commissions. It advances on issue if you can qualify for it. There's a 10% cash bonus if you can issue pay $20,000 every quarter approximately. So they don't do an exotic vacation. They do a 10% cash bonus. So if you do a lot of production with them, you get paid that much more. 3-year look back on cancer, 2-year look back on heart issues. They do an e-app with an instant decision. You don't even have to do a phone call for. It's just a really good overall company. I like them a lot, obviously. They're one of the few companies that we start agents with to begin with out the gate. Next on the list here is Trinity Family Benefit. Now, I like Trinity Family Benefit. They're a smaller company that kind of has that small company feel. They have a great product that is very competitively priced. It's great underwriting too. It's right now at the time that I'm recording this has a 2-year look back on heart issues, a 2-year look back on cancer. They take insulin after 40 as well, and take all forms of payment. They also have a 5% lead bonus if you can issue pay $5,000 in annual premium a month with them. This was one of my favorite products when I was out in the field writing business full time. They've got a quick phone interview. You can either do a paper app plus a phone interview, or 100% application process verbally, where there's nothing to fax in. The person who's underwriting it types it in and creates the app for you. And they provide an instant decision upon submission. So they have really good renewals too. They're a little lower on the first commission, but pretty good on the renewal side. Kind of makes up for it for sure. And persistency tends to be better with Trinity Family Benefit because one of their main attractions is their very competitive pricing. Next on the list here is Standard Life and Casualty. So this is a company that I call a price buster. I would only really use it when I'm trying to replace a product that's higher priced and I needed to get a low price leader to give the best savings or give the most coverage for the same price in exchange for a replacement. They're pretty liberal on underwriting. They have a 2-year look back on cancer and heart issues. Insulin is okay. They actually take diabetic neuropathy. One of the downsides of using SLAC, as we call them for short, Standard Life and Casualty, is that they don't give an instant decision, to give a contingent decision on the phone. So I don't like using them as a mainstay. This is something that's changed with them, where they've moved to this more model of sometimes it's approved, but then sometimes it's not. That's no good when we run final expense appointments over the long haul. So for me, Standard Life and Casualty really is a niche product if you're trying to replace existing coverage, and their smoker rates are good too, so that can come in handy sometimes on replacements. Same thing with Life Shield. Really everything I've just described is true for Life Shield as well. Now, they don't have a phone interview. You have to send the app in, and then they give a decision. So again, in the similar vein of Slack, you don't get an instant decision, so you can't really rely on them all the time to provide, a main way to sell insurance, right? Because you need to use carriers face-to-face that always provide an instant decision 90% plus of the time as your main carrier. So again, Life Shield, another really good carrier, very, very low price too, but it's just because you don't know when you leave. It's not something you can always carefully rely on. Next on the list here is Great Western. Now, we only use Great Western when it comes to guaranteed issue business. What's cool about Great Western relative to AIG is Great Western issues at 40 to 80 years old. The minimum's $1,000 versus AIG, which is $5,000. The maximum with Great Western is $40,000 compared to AIG. I think it's $25,000. It might have been moved to $30,000. So Great Western fills this little niche on low and high face amounts. And also, after 12 months have passed with Great Western, you don't suffer a chargeback if the client dies. You keep the commission you earned. That kind of protects you, because one of the things with any guaranteed issue carriers, what are we sending to them? People who can't qualify for the rest of our carriers. So the risk factors tend to be higher that they'll die sooner. So the more protection in place you have, that's good. Downside of Great Western, they tend to have higher prices than AIG, and that's about it. They have a cap on commissions too, so you get paid your full commission rate, but the advance cap is a little bit lower. I think it's $500 or $600, so that can be a downside for some people. Ninth on the list here, almost done, is American Amicable. Very similar to Prosperity in some ways. People who use American Amicable, I absolutely love them. They have pretty good smoker rates. Their non-smoker rates pretty good. Decent underwriting. An instant decision e-app, I believe. It's just an all-around decent company. If you can't get one of these other companies, American Amicable usually is a good to be considered as a good fill-in for what's missing with the other ones. If you're locked out, can't get a release, that kind of thing. Last on the list here, a newer one that I think is almost perfect but missing in a few categories is Aetna Ascendo. Aetna has two products. It has its American Continental plan, which I think is kind of obsolete at this point, and then the Ascendo plan, sometimes it's called the CVS Health plan, okay? It is very much like Forrester's Early, where it has a preferred and standard price, and it has niches based off of similar restraints. For example, Aetna will do COPD, first day full coverage at a standard rate, and then it'll also take heart issues like stroke, stents, heart attacks, etc., 1 year out from the event as standard pricing. Plus, Aetna is a brand name, CVS Health is a brand name, and this commonly is known by the clients that we sell them to. Another cool factor with Aetna is that they don't require a phone interview to get a decision. It's a very easy electronic application process. Right now at the filming of this, the only downside with Aetna is that a lot of the times you don't get instant decisions on the cases you've submitted, and it gets referred to underwriting. If you could get this up to, if Aetna get this up to 90%, they would be a main player for me personally. But right now for me, they're more of a niche carrier in those niche situations. They also don't have a height weight guide, no height weight chart requirements, and they issue age 40 to 89, which is very, very good. So they're a really good company, a really good product. But if you don't get your cases issued 90% plus the time, face-to-face or telcos or anything final expense, going back to clients is going to be really tough. Hey, you got declined, and they may have changed your interest, and it's a very frustrating process. So anyways, I hope this gives you some perspective on what I think the best 10 final expense carriers are. If you have any questions about any of these carriers we talked about, you can reach out to me at davidduford.com/contact. Leave some comments below. And please share this with other final expense agents out there that are trying to see what the options are and what they can do for their final expense carrier decisions. David Duford, logging off. Thanks for watching. See ya.